Number 9 and 10 was all about variance and standard deviation. Is variance a high percent of question? No, it's been on like 2 Regents exams, but you know, your luck, it might be on there, so you should know that formula, which they won't give to you. These are the formulas. If I give you standard deviation to get the variance, you square it. To get the standard deviation given the variance, you take the square root. So here that I gave you that the standard deviation was 16, so to get the variance, you just square it to get you 256. I always remember, this sounds silly, but I always remember variance is very big and standard deviation is small, because that's the letters they begin with, and it helps me remember, do I square it or do I square root it? For number 10, they gave you a bunch of data. And what was that data? I'm struggling right here. It is golfers, all right? Something that I love to do is golf. I stink at it, but I like to do it anyway. So you get these golf scores, and you put it into stat edit in your first list, and it's only one variable. There's no frequency here. I mean, you could actually consider that there are 238s, but there's just 6 scores, so it's not a big deal to put a frequency there. Then after you do that, you go into stat calc and you do a number 1 bar stat. Now, it's not necessary to write L1 because the calculator is going to assume that your data is in L1. However, if there were a frequency column, which I really should have done an example like that, if you don't write L1 comma L2, you're going to get it completely wrong, and it won't give you an error, and it stinks. And if this is a part 2 question, you're going to lose half your credit, so be careful with something like that. On that screen, after I do enter, I have X bar, which is my mean of 43. And I'm using the population because all the golf scores always use population. The only time you're going to use sample SX if it says sample in it or it tells you use SX. So when in doubt, use population. So the standard deviation to the nearest tenth is 3.8. Now they want the number of scores within one standard deviation. Now within is a very powerful word. Within means 1 to the left and 1 to the right. So I subtract a standard deviation and I add a standard deviation. So this is the interval in which I'm going to go to my scores and count up how many fall in there. Well, 38 doesn't. 43 falls in between here. 45 falls in between here. 46 does, but 48 does not. So there are 3 scores that are within one standard deviation of the mean. How can I ask this differently? I might ask you to tell me the percentage of scores. Then you would have done 3 divided by the total number of scores, which are 1, 2, 3, 6, would have been 1/2. I might have asked you, does this approximate a normal distribution? Well, within one standard deviation of the mean is approximately 68.2% of your data. So since it's 50%, I don't think it approximates a normal distribution. What do you think? Bye.